Welcome to the LynnSanity podcast with Caleb Lynn, a part of the Running Hook Podcast Network. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the LynnSanity podcast, a part of the Running Hook Podcast Network. And once again, I somehow, some way have allowed Noah Wolfgang to come on my podcast twice. Wolfgang killed it on his debut. I'll give him credit. He absolutely just roasted the crap out of Adam Gase all over that preview. He just decided to light a fire on Adam Gase. But Wolfgang, it's a privilege. I'll be curious to see if you light a fire on anybody else like you did Adam Gase, my guy.
Yeah, I look at the teams in this division, and I don't think anyone's strictly incompetent. So I don't know if we're going to be doing any lighting of any fires.
Maybe. We don't know though. We're not gonna rule it out of you, Wolfgang. It's the AFC West that we're gonna go over. We're gonna go over it. We're just gonna do the same thing we've been doing on every preview we've done on LynnSanity. We're gonna go Chargers, Broncos, Raiders, and Chiefs, and we're gonna start off talking about the Chargers, which Noah it seemed a little bit intrigued with what this Chargers team could give. And, Noah, here's the thing, right? The Chargers let go of Phillip Rivers this season. Phillip Rivers decided to sign with the Indianapolis Colts,
right.
and that was a little bit of a shocker because Phillip Rivers has been a Charger for quite a while, right? And, but they had to go in a different direction. And the different direction that they're looking to go in could be Justin Herbert. It could be Tyrod Taylor. There's an interesting situation there. They didn't try to get Cam Newton. Some people thought they would. They didn't try to get him. They're going to try to stick it out with Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert. And Noah, I'll start off with the quarterback position. We'll get into the other positions, but let's start off with quarterback because I feel like there's a lot of intrigue with when do you start Justin Herbert? When do you start Tyrod Taylor all season? What do you do if you are the Chargers, Noah?
Well, when I look at other signings that they made this offseason, title piece being Chris Harris Jr.
Yeah.
To me, the Chargers are still win now. They had a 5-11 season last year, but I think that was a bit of an underachievement. I'm expecting them to bounce back a little bit this season. I think that it was a tough decision, like Tom Brady, but it was the right one to get rid of or to move on from Phillip Rivers.
I agree.
But you're right with the question with the Dolphins. In part one, I had some clairvoyance about who they're going to start. I really don't know because if you want to win now, I don't know if that's Herbert. But then you look and it's Tyrod Taylor, your quarterback, the win now. He showed a couple years ago he can lead Buffalo to the playoffs somehow because Andy Dalton had late season heroics. I don't know if you remember that. But to me, if it's a win now, they're going to put Tyrod Taylor in unless they think that Justin Herbert's, absolutely ready. I think that they believe in Herbert. I think that to the Chargers organization, he is the future. What was he drafted? 6th overall?
Yeah.
I don't think you do that without intentions for your quarterback to be your franchise leader. But it's the same question. And to be honest, I really still have not made up my mind. Are they going to start Tyrod or Justin Herbert? It'll probably be Tyrod just because, most rookie quarterbacks, unless you're an immediate NFL ready type of quarterback, you're not going to be starting until October.
That's very fair. And I think, Noah, there's reasons to think that they're going to try to win now. And so, starting a guy like Tyrod Taylor is not a bad thing. I think Tyrod Taylor's a good quarterback. I don't look at him like he sucks. I really don't. I think he's a solid guy.
When you compare him to the other situation we talked about in part one,
yes,
he folds like at least twofold better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. The overall season performance that Tyrod Taylor is going to put forth is so far above Fitzpatrick. I don't think that Tyrod Taylor makes bad decisions is the big thing.
I agree with that. And
the reason I'm high on the Chargers, and we'll get to that in a minute, is that defense. Sure. That defense is phenomenal.
Yeah. I agree.
And if Tyrod Taylor, I've always thought of him as a pretty good game manager.
Yeah.
And if their defense is going to carry him, all you need from Tyrod Taylor is to just not turn the ball over and facilitate an offense downfield. They have a pretty decent backfield.
Yeah.
Did they add Melvin Gordon?
That's the big factor, Noah, because, let's look into that, because the running back situation, right? They don't have Melvin Gordon. He went to Denver. We'll talk about Denver in a minute.
Right.
But right now they only have Eckler, right? They have Justin Jackson. Those are good pieces, but losing Melvin Gordon could do a lot for this team. I mean, so I guess my question to you, Noah, is, do you think Austin Eckler is a 3-down back? Which I think that's what the Chargers are going to have to answer this season. Can Austin Eckler give you legitimate production?
Is a question right there. I don't think he's a 3-down back.
Okay.
But I think they're expecting him to be.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
So the most carries he's had in a season is 132. Granted, we've seen, traditional, 1 or 2 down guys come in and then, excel as a 3-down back. I don't know if Eckler's ready for that right now. Was he pretty good in the role that he formed when Gordon was there? Yeah.
Right.
I'm just not sure if Eckler,
I understand that,
is their 3rd down back.
Yeah. I get that. I think that's understandable. I think Justin Jackson, Noah, is going to have to be a big part of what they do, because I'm not crazy about him Eckler being an all-down guy. Like, I think they need Jackson to be the guy that runs in the middle, that gets those tough inside yardage. They need Eckler to try to come outside. And if they can have a decent balance, I think it works. But if they try to use Eckler as this 3-down guy, I think it's understandable to be a little bit worrisome. And the other thing that they're going to rely on, Noah, is they're going to rely on their passing game as well. And the big key, Noah, is it looks like Mike Williams could be out for a while, which is not good for them. But they do have Keenan Allen, who's amazing.
He's
Hunter
phenomenal.
Henry, very good tight end.
I think Keenan Allen might be the most underrated receiver in the league. Does not get talked about enough.
Wow. I like the take, Noah. I like it.
Granted, he had Phillip Rivers back there who can facilitate yards. I think, I'm excited to see what, Keenan Allen can continue to do. Yeah. I do think he is, and I'm sure I know everyone he's unquestionably a number 1 receiver.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
I don't know why he's not talked about more.
Wow.
But something else I wanted to bring up with Austin Eckler before I go on to Keenan Allen. They signed Brian Beluga, and like I said, I'm a little behind on who has opted out. I'm not sure if Beluga has opted out or not. Is he still in?
Brian Beluga?
Yeah.
From my understanding, he is able. He's going to come in. He's going to play. Right. He's not opted out.
And he's a veteran, but I still think that he can, add some depth and some production.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm just going to look at Keenan Allen right here. Last season he, over 100 catches, almost 1,200 yards. He was a yard off of 1,200. And he had 6 touchdowns. And that's the reason that he is, I think, underrated, is the touchdowns. And, again, I like to make my Colts comparisons. That was the problem with T.Y. Hilton, and still is the problem with he just does not catch a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah.
But again, he moves the ball downfield. And we were talking about facilitating an offense that can get into scoring position. I think with Tyrod and definitely with Keenan Allen, and we haven't even talked about Hunter Henry yet. They have an offense built to do exactly what they need to do to be successful this season.
Well, Noah, here's the thing. On the LynnSanity podcast, there's a saying that's always said when somebody really goes in on a player and really likes him. Get a room with Keenan Allen. Just get a room. Get a hotel room and book it. Because I think here's the thing. I don't even think it's a bad. I get your perspective. I do. But I got to say it. it's a LynnSanity podcast. Get a room with Keenan Allen. Because here's the thing.
I'd be willing.
here's the thing. Because here's the thing, Noah. I do agree with you. I do think he's a really good receiver. I do think that he can give you number one numbers. I don't disagree with that. I think he's going to give you exactly what you need as a top receiver. And you're going to need probably a little bit more depending on the status and the questions of Mike Williams' injury, right? But it's not going to be one guy that replaces him, though. No, you're going to need somebody else. Right. That's, in my opinion, where Hunter Henry comes into play. And Hunter Henry, Noah, this is a guy that at times has had a struggle staying on the field. But when he does stay on the field, Noah, this is a very solid tight end. This is a guy that you can rely on heavily. This is a guy that you can come in and really, look, you can sit there and say, all right, he's going to give me some good numbers. He's going to give me production, and the key for him, Noah, is it's as simple as just stay on the field, because this talent level, Noah, he's legit. Noah, he's good. And, I think he'll fit in well, regardless of who's playing quarterback down there. And, I think Hunter Henry is going to need to come up really good for them this season. And I think he's going to deliver. What do you think about that?
We were talking about that absence of touchdowns from Keenan Allen, and that's where Hunter Henry comes in. If Keenan Allen can get them into the red zone, I mean, the fact that they're in the red zone makes their offense doubly dangerous because of Hunter Henry.
Yep.
Let me look up his actual height, because off the top of my head, let me just get that. Yeah, he's 6'5", 249 pounds. I mean, he can throw people around the end zone just with his body. So, I mean, and, we've seen his length. He can catch away from his body.
Yeah.
And again, I know I've repeated it.
Sure.
Their offensive strategy is just got to get to the red zone and then let Hunter Henry take care of it. Something else, I was looking up the timeline on Mike Williams. I think it was originally 2 to 4. Now they're saying 6. I actually have them going on a win streak right around season 6. And that's not a coincidence that when Mike Williams comes back, with wishful thinking, I have them starting the season 2 and 3, but then, I have them finishing with a pretty decent record, but we'll get to that eventually. But with Hunter Henry, I think he's a major piece of their red zone offense with catching touchdowns in the place of Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. And Noah, here's the thing. I'm a little bit semi-worried about their offense. I'm not like insanely concerned, but I'm just a little bit worried about the line. Can the line give me enough protection? But I think, Noah, the other thing about Tyrod Taylor, I think you are 100% correct. This dude doesn't make stupid decisions. No. And that is going to be a really good thing for them, because they're going to need to figure out ways to, be creative in how they get their offense going, and be creative with the way that they want to go about it. Because I agree with you. Here's a couple pickups for them, Noah, that I think are huge. Brian Bulaga. And the other big pickup, they got Pouncey, who's still good. Dan Feeney's solid. They picked up Trey Turner from the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. And that dude ain't no slouch. And so when you got that right side of the line with right tackle and right guard set like they do, that's a big freaking deal. And I think the Chargers have an opportunity to really come out and shock some people. I understand your thinking. All I'm going to say to you is, with that offense, just get a room with Keenan Allen. Reserve a hotel room, because you're all over him. But here's the thing, though. I think the other valid point that you keep making that I don't think is wrong at all is they have a lot of elite talent on the defensive side of the ball. They have a lot of talent. They got, when you look at guys like Derwin James coming back, that's always going to help you. And by the way, we're just
coincidence that he got hurt and they finished 5. That's not a coincidence at all. That's one of the least coincidence things in the league last season.
I agree. And here's the thing: you got Chris Harris, you got Casey Hayward, who's very good. Linebacker Noah, to me, is a little bit head scratchy, but here's the thing: I don't think Denzel Perriman's a very solid player. I'm not. And they have Kenneth Murray, who I think is also who could be very good for them. But that defensive line, Noah, I mean, I know that Melvin Ingram has been a little bit tricky with the contract situation and whether he wants in or out. let's not forget they also picked up Lynn Joseph, who is just a total tank in the middle of that defense. And,
That's a good
they got right. And you got Tillery.
Well, obviously Chris Harris was their best pickup, but I think the value of Lynn Joseph is so understated, pairing with Joey Bosa, because they have a good backfield. You're right. Linebacker's a little shaky, but I think Melvin Ingram's going to play this season, and I think he'll perform. And you talked about Kenneth Murray too.
Yeah, man. They're going to, they got Tranquil, who's very good. They've had him. This is a good team, Noah. They got Tillery as well. They've got Jones. This is a good defense, Noah. I 100% agree with you. I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm not going to ask you to get a room with the Chargers defense, because that defense is nasty, and there's no other way to put it. And this is a team, Noah, that I think could produce really good numbers. And when you have a guy like Joey Bosa, who you just gave the bag. I mean, you gave that dude the cash this offseason, and he deserved every penny of it. I mean, that dude decided that he was worth the money that he was worth. And you know what? I agree with him. He's a total animal. He's young. He's a perfect guy to lead your defense. And then, you have Derwin James, who's just this incredible talented safety. I mean, Noah, you talk about foundational pieces. This is a really scary defense. The key for them is if Kenneth Murray works out for the Chargers, that's a dangerous defense on all levels. The first level, the second level. He fills
that other linebacker spot.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to give them a second linebacker that I think they could really use. I agree. And the Chargers are going to be a team that I think, Noah, I know you talked about it. It seems like you're high on him. What do you think of the Chargers right now? Do you think that they are a potential playoff team in your opinion?
Well, there's two things. They have the 23rd toughest schedule. I like to look at how tough the schedule is supposed to be.
I get that.
Tougher games. They have to go into Tampa and they have to go into New Orleans. Those aren't going to be easy games. And they also have to go into Kansas City. I have them right now at 9-7, which to me is pretty decent. That's where I had the Patriots. I'm expecting them in New England to fight for a playoff spot, but there's that 7th wild card seed now.
Yep.
And for that reason, I think the Chargers can capture that last seed.
That's not crazy.
Let me see if I have any hot take wins here. And to me, that's the thing though with the Chargers. I really don't. I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs, the Bucks, or the Saints. But there's not a game that I look at that's, all these games they should win. They're going to win to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you have teams like the Jaguars, and you have teams like the Panthers. You have teams like the Falcons, who I honestly, I'm expecting them to still kind of struggle this season.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. It's just a combination of schedule and that defensive talent. Because, like I said, their offense does not have to do much. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them get that last wild card spot this season.
I don't think that's a bad take at all. And, real quick, before we move on to Denver Broncos, shout out Joshua Kelly. Joshua Kelly was a rookie for them. Joshua Kelly, I think, also has an opportunity, Noah, to do a lot in that running game because that's a young guy that has some potential. And they, I think, like you said, I don't know if you can rely on Eckler and Justin Jackson to, particularly Eckler, to give you 3 downs. It's possible that they could look at Joshua Kelly, giving you, some opportunity. So shout out Joshua Kelly. There's just so many players on the Chargers, though, that it's like you're trying to get to all of them. And to me, that's a credit of a good football team. And Anthony Lynn, good coach, very good coach. And that leads me into, Noah, the Denver Broncos, who are, to me, Noah, one fascinating football team on the offensive side of the ball. Because Drew Lock at the end of the season gave this team a 4-1 record. And that is not a joke, because I think Drew Lock has talent. And I will get a room with Drew Lock because I think Drew Lock is underrated. I think Drew Lock can be a guy that can lead an offense, Noah, as a quarterback. Am I crazy that I feel like that Drew Lock has an opportunity to do some major damage this season. Am I crazy for this?
I don't think so. Like you pointed out that 4-1 ending of the season. And look, they drafted Jerry Jeudy. They signed Melvin Gordon to pair with is Philip Lindsay still playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, I'm not sure about opt-outs.
Yeah, you're good.
You also got Hamler at the wideout, and they signed an offensive lineman, a pretty decent signing in Graham Glasgow there.
Yeah.
You know, of course, on the defensive end, they lost Chris Harris, but they signed AJ Boye and Jarrell Casey. But we're talking about the offense. I don't think it's crazy at all to see Drew Lock continue to perform and develop.
I'm huge on Lock, Noah. I really am. I'll get a room with Lock. And here's the other thing. Like, you know, I think in the running game, see, like I know a lot of people are really skeptical of the Melvin Gordon pickup.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm not. I'm in no way. Because, you know, here's the thing. I think teams are slowly but surely recognizing that if you have two really good running backs, it's better than a bell cow. And I think Denver is going to use both guys. I think they're going to use both guys well. And I think Melvin Gordon is going to be a really good player. I think I like him in Denver this season. Are you skeptical of Melvin Gordon this season? Where are you at with what he could be on this Denver offense?
It's fairly obvious to me that Lindsay is going to be their one guy. But you look at Gordon as a 2, that's a punch to the mouth if you're a defense. That's where defensive coordinators are going to look at, you know, the Broncos and be like, okay, how am I going to stop this punch? Because if I stop one, I still have to stop the other.
Yeah.
You know, that being said, that gives them flexibility with injury.
Yeah, I agree.
And like you said, anytime you have two good backs, that makes your offense so much more flexible.
Yeah.
And you know, with a young quarterback that can have two good backs like that, that's going to give him confidence.
Yeah.
That's going to give him reassurance of his team.
I agree. Yeah.
I think the effects of the Lindsey Gordon duo are, you know, I'm expecting that to be one of the surprising things for the Broncos this year for how well that actually is about to work out.
I agree. I don't think that's crazy at all. I think that's going to work out really well. And, you know, if they can complement that passing game, Noah, that's going to be a good thing. And they have some weapons on that passing game. I mean, you want to talk about Cortland Sutton. That dude is he is set, Noah. That's a legitimate receiver. He's going to develop into something, in my opinion. Oh, and by the way, we're going to sign Jerry Jeudy as well, so we can have that duo. And then, by the way, later in the draft, we're also going to get KJ Hamler because we want to just keep having this awesome trio of wide receivers. Oh, and then last year, we're going to take Noah Fant, who showed plenty of promise. So, I mean, Noah, their passing weapons are loaded this season. They are loaded. And that, once again, makes me think that Drew Lock is going to have a great season because I think Cortland Sutton's going to be solid. I think Jerry Jeudy's going to do well. I think the expectations need to be fair, but I think he's going to do well. I think KJ Hamler has a very interesting opportunity and intriguing to see what his role could be. I don't know if he's going to be immediately a contributor in his first season, but I think he could down the line. And I think Noah Fant has a chance to be really freaking good in the red zone.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a physical, just an amazing physical specimen, just a dude that you look at this guy, he is built like some sort of bodybuilder with the way that this guy is in the red zone, how physical he's going to be. To me, that is a incredible slate.
You know who he reminds me of? And we just talked about Hunter Henry. He has the same body build. And we were high on Hunter Henry. We're talking about red zone threats and that.
Yep.
That's Noah Fant right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I agree with you.
And we talked about the key with Hunter Henry. Can he stay healthy? I think Noah, he could. I think this is going to be a breakout season for Noah Fant.
I agree.
Last season, you look at his stats. They're pretty good. He had 40 receptions, 562 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised to see him finish with over 60 catches this season.
Wow, I like it.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a 7 in the front of that yards category.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't be surprised if he catches, 7 or 8 touchdowns.
I like it. Yeah.
I'm expecting him to elevate into that, into, right now, to me, he's kind of a mid-tier tight end. I'm expecting him to elevate it to that upper tier.
Yeah, I think there's an argument there, and I think that he's going to have an opportunity.
Because young quarterbacks, tight ends are their best friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I totally know what you mean. I think that's fair.
Also have a pretty good season.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think Fant's very talented, and they're going to have plenty of weapons for Locke to get the ball to. And then here's the other thing, Noah. They have really committed to offensive line help as well. You mentioned it earlier, and I think you have a really good point. I mean, Jawan James, very good player, but unfortunately, he's not going to play this season. But here's the thing. You went out, you got DeMar Dotson, who's a solid vet, right? I think you made a great point on Glasgow. He's going to be a guy that is going to come in and give them some really good reliability. And here's the other pick, Noah, that I think is really interesting. And I believe, I'd be curious to hear the college football opinion on this for the triple option. But I think Lloyd Cushenberry is interesting. And he's a rookie from LSU and was very talented in LSU. And he's got a chance to potentially give them, a starting offensive lineman as a third round pick, Noah. I think Cushenberry is intriguing as well. And when you're looking at Denver right now, they're just slowly but surely building a really steady offense. That's just what it comes down to. They are not trying to beat themselves up. They are trying to make sure that they have an offense that allows Drew Lock to succeed. And I think they will succeed. I think they're going to be very good this season. And, I think the main question, Noah, to be completely honest with you, is going to be the thing that normally isn't an issue for Denver. And that's the defense.
Yeah.
And that's normally not an issue for them. Because here's the thing, Noah. You let go of Chris Harris and you got A.J. Boye, which to me, good player. Is he Chris Harris level? No, he's not.
Swap. Most teams, when they lose a Chris Harris Jr. type of player, they're going to have some type of existential crisis.
I agree.
They found a replacement for him.
They didn't
take long.
No, it didn't.
They still have Chubb and Miller.
Studs.
That's one of the better, backing cores in the NFL.
I totally agree. Outside wise, I couldn't agree with you more. They're going to be, you want to talk about pass rush. You can't get much better than that. And then Noah, the other big factor is they have Jarrell Casey. They somehow picked up Jarrell Casey. Tennessee just said, basically, he's worth a bag of chips, which if you watch football, Noah, get the crap out of here. Jarrell Casey is going to give Denver a outstanding defensive lineman, and they already have Chubb, and they already have Miller. Noah, come on. This is going to be a very solid front seven. When you have those guys anchoring your defense, you got other guys. Todd Davis, solid. He's a solid role player. They're going to get a lot of things from, Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, and Jarrell Casey. Do you agree with me on that one?
I do. I'm actually starting to think because I like the Chargers, but I don't think I gave enough to the Broncos.
They're loaded, man. They're good.
It's just on that division. That's a very solid division.
It is.
But I do agree with you with that division. That defense, the big difference for them is who did I talk about earlier with forcing turnovers? I can't even remember which team that was. I remember just making a big deal about it though.
The Patriots?
I think it might have been the Patriots. I think it was actually the Bills. As good as the Bills.
Okay, the Bills is. Yeah, that was right.
That's right.
Yep.
That's the problem with the Broncos. So you got to find a way to force more turnovers. Yeah. If they do that, they're a pretty good defense.
I agree.
It's just turnovers.
And Noah, the other thing is they may have lost a little bit of a level in the secondary, but Boye is still good. Bryce Callahan's decent. They have Justin Simmons, who is you want to talk about underrated? No, Justin Simmons is very underrated. He should be talked about more in the league. Kareem Jackson's a veteran guy that just knows how to get it done.
Right.
This is a good team, Noah. It's a tough division, but this is a good team. I think this team's going to be very intriguing. And, Noah, I'm going to let you do your records, man. Give them to me. What do you think it's going to be?
Assign a number to the Broncos.
Oh, wow.
Where do you think they're finishing in the division?
Oh, go.
Because listen to this. You're going to think I'm insane.
Oh,
I have them finishing last in the division with an 8-8 record. And that's purely because I have the Raiders managing to beat them twice. But, you look at my records for the AFC West, you have the Chiefs with 12 wins, the Chargers with 9, and both the Broncos and the Raiders with 8. That's a phenomenal.
It is.
Tough division.
I agree. It is. I agree.
And I think 4 seeds around the league.
Yeah.
The Broncos undoubtedly, if I'm correct there, that's the best. That's a phenomenal 4th seed. And,
I agree.
The thing is I don't have a lot of room for error here. Either the Chargers or the Raiders underperform, and the Broncos can step into that
I totally
spot.
agree. Yep.
They're going to be a team around week 14 that's in that playoff hunt.
I agree.
They have the hardest schedule in their division.
Yeah, that worries me a little bit. But I agree.
Do I think that they're still playoff caliber? I think they are. Then again,
yeah. Heck yeah.
I just don't know if there's a team in the division. For some reason, I'm also fairly high on the Raiders. I think they added a lot of talent.
Yeah, we'll get into them. Yeah, we'll get into them in a minute.
My expectation for the Broncos is for them to not be in the playoffs, but I would not be surprised as I would be with other teams if they did manage to get in.
Yeah,
right now I have them at 8-8.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. Injuries are going to be a factor in this too. And, obviously the Mike Williams situation we'll have to see. Todd Davis is supposed to be, here's the thing. He's, from what I've been reading, he's supposed to be back, before the opener, but we'll have to see. And if that case, they're going to need Alexander Johnson to come in and give them some good play. Denver's got a lot to like. And like you said, the margin of error is going to be slim, and we'll see where it goes. And that leads me, Noah, in my opinion, to one of the more sneaky teams, or who knows what they can do type of teams, in the Oakland Raiders. Because Noah, I know you like talking quarterbacks, so I'm gonna get into this with you because I'm curious to hear what you think. The thing with the Las Vegas Raiders. That looks a little weird, but the Las Vegas Raiders
take me to stop saying Oakland. Is my question.
That's going to look a little weird. The Las Vegas Raiders, they got Derek Carr, and here's the thing, Noah. We talked about Derek Carr 2 or 3 years ago as a potential MVP candidate.
Right.
And now all of a sudden,
when they got their 1 sack that one season,
they did. And now, Noah, it's people want to get him out of town.
Right.
Noah. In my opinion, he doesn't deserve to get out of town. The Oakland fan base just needs to shut up. Just shut up. Because here's the thing. You have Marcus Mariota, which Marcus Mariota was a talented quarterback in college. But Marcus Mariota needs a particular system. And Derek Carr is a good quarterback. Take appreciation in Derek Carr. Quit hating on Derek Carr, dang it. I mean, it's stupid. It's stupid, Wolfgang. I mean, give me a reason. Give me a reason why I should be less skeptical, because I think Derek Carr is a solid quarterback. I'm sick and tired of the hate that I see from Derek Carr, who, in my opinion, is just a very solid quarterback who can get the job done.
I think there are people who are questioning whether Mariota, and I'm not. I don't think I'm going to rant quite as much. I think this is your rant, but there are people that are saying that Mariota and Carr are going to have to fight for that job. I don't know what the hell those people are talking about, because Mariota and Derek Carr are on 2 different planets. Derek Carr threw for 4,000 yards and 21 touchdowns last season, threw 8 picks. That's pretty good. That's real good on a team like the Raiders. I kind of agree. I think he's being pegged with their problems, which when you're starting quarterback in the NFL, that's what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
But, take a look real quick. I don't know if you already have Phillip Rivers' stats written down from last season. People are talking about Phillip Rivers leading the Colts back to the playoffs. He threw 12 more interceptions than Derek Carr. Derek Carr had about as many yards, and he had.
You hear that, Zach Griffith and Bryce Shaddy? You hearing this? You lovers of Phillip Rivers. They've been all over this podcast, Noah, loving him. That's
if you're gonna love Phillip Rivers, why aren't you also high on Derek Carr? They're very similar.
I like it, Noah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I definitely.
So I'm gonna back you up there. I think that Carr's, he's at the worst, he's decent. at the best, he's
very good.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I would put him more as just he's a good quarterback. I think the disappointment also coming from a Raiders fan base is he was supposed to lead them to the next stage.
I agree.
But there were just things outside of his control that happened.
And
unfortunately, because he's the quarterback, that's placed on him. I don't think that's fair. I think they'd be dumb to get rid of him and try to rely on Mariota. Because Mariota, to me, is not a starting quarterback that's going to lead you, to a lot of success. I think he's a very good backup. So if Carr has injury problems, I think Mariota is a good answer.
100% agree on that.
But to me, Carr, this season he has the potential to shut people up.
I hope he does. I think Carr's legit. I do. And here's the thing, Noah. They're starting to get, guys familiar. Here's the thing, Noah. So if you want to look at the running game, let's look at the running game like we've been doing. Josh Jacobs, dude. Josh Jacobs. That man is a really freaking good running back. He is a bell cow running back. He is a dude that can do anything. Pass catch, run the ball inside, run the ball outside. To me, Noah, that is a outstanding running back to have behind Derek Carr and in general. Like, I think you're going to see Josh Jacobs take a big time step this season. You could be talking about Josh Jacobs, Noah, from a good running back to a top of the line running back by the
He's already a good running back.
I agree.
And
I agree. Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing with Josh Jacobs, you're going to get that he's talented, he's good. It's just going to be a matter of, can he just keep can he keep it steady? Can he keep it steady? Can he turn it up a little bit? Because I think even if he keeps it steady, he's going to be set for a really nice season. But I think he's got a chance to go even higher than that. No, I think he's got a chance to go even better than that. I mean, is that crazy for me to think that he can get even better?
I don't think it's crazy at all. Keep in mind, last season he had over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns as a rookie. So he's going to continue to learn in the league. My question is I don't really know what his ceiling is. I think he definitely has potential to be up there in that group with, with top backs in the league.
Yeah. But unsure of where that ends is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm more unsure of if it's going to happen this season or next year.
No, that's fair.
I think he'll have a better season. No, that's not the right phrasing because that makes it seem like he had a bad season last year. I think he will add on to what he did last season, but I'm not sure if that at the end of this season is still going to put him in that top tier. I think one day, I just don't know if it's going to be this year.
That's fair. No, I mean, I respect that opinion. 1,000%.
I'm more excited about Henry Ruggs.
Wow. You think Ruggs is going to have a really good season this year?
I think that he is going to add, a lot of versatility to their offense, even though he's a rookie. You know what I mean? I think, and I have it pulled up here. There's a Sports Illustrated article. They're talking about how he's a pivotal rookie in the NFL. I think he's going to kind of become a hinge of their offense. You have Darren Waller also at tight end. He's a solid NFL tight end.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't know. I'm expecting to see Henry Ruggs put up some big numbers and be one of the better rookie receivers in the league this year. And I think that might be why with Josh Jacobs, I don't think he has to carry the offense as much as he did last season. But I still think that he'll build on his performance, which is a great sign if they don't have to use him as much. But he still becomes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. I understand it. I think it's logical to me. I just wonder to be honest with you, I just really wonder if Ruggs can give it to me this season. I don't believe he can immediately give it to me. I do think that Josh Jacobs can give it to me. Because I think he's just starting to develop and get better and better. the key for him was the pass catch. Pass catch, they didn't even use him as much in a pass catching, and he's got an opportunity to do that. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for the Raiders. I really do. They're sleepers to me, Noah. And that kind of leads me into the defense, which the offense is going to do well. But the defense, you want to talk about making moves on a defense. They picked up Corey Littleton from the Rams, who I think is very solid. Max Crosby's really freaking good. They have Clelin Ferrell, who, was a top draft pick for them, who I don't think really worked out as what they would have thought last year. But I think people need to hold off the pressure a little bit. Like, he could take a couple years, and I think that's okay, right? They have Abram back, who is very talented. They have Demarius Randall as well. The head scratcher though, Noah, the head scratcher to me, and Bryce Shaddy, you can come at my neck, is corner, because I'm worried that Damon Arnett can't give me number one production. I think they do have a Mokamura. They have LaMarcus Joyner, and they have Trayvon Mullen. Those guys are decent. I just can we slow down the hype on Damon Arnett, please? Like, I don't think everybody needs to get a room with David Arnett. That was a little bit of a head scratch for me when they picked him. And it's not because I don't think he's a good player. It's a little bit of a head scratcher on where they picked him. That's all.
Before I get into Arnett, I just have like a little thing in the back of my mind. I want one more thing about Ruggs.
Go right ahead.
Carr likes the slot receivers. We're talking about fast slot receivers, and I think Ruggs, in the aspect of pure speed, he's one of the faster guys in the NFL. And I think that's kind of why I'm so high on him, because I think he pairs well with Carr. Maybe on other teams, but yeah, with Damon Arnett, are you saying you don't think he has one potential this season, or you don't think he has that in his career?
No, I just think we need to slow down the pedal when it comes to what we expect of Arnett.
I like Damon Arnett though. I don't.
He's good. No, I just don't want. I don't know if it's. Let's just hold it down.
Level,
it's definitely not Bryce Shaddy level. Let's just make that clear. It's not Bryce Shaddy level. Bryce Shaddy needs to get a room with Damon Arnett.
Let's not forget that Arnett came from Ohio State, which for Bryce is,
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't give a rip that he's just from Ohio State. No, I don't give a rip. He just needs to get a room with Damon Arnett. That's really what it comes down to. Okay, that's what it comes down to. It really is, and it's not a bad thing. It just he needs to get a room with him.
Right.
And here's the thing: when you have the talent that they have, I think you can put a little less pressure on him. But the idea of him being number one guy right now, I mean, get the crap out of here. And this is going to be a very solid football team. And Noah, it leads me to, I'm going to keep letting you do your predictions. What's your record like for the Raiders team?
How do you feel about Amik Robertson? He's definitely not a number one, but he to me was also an interesting draft pick for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing where they're drafting two young cornerbacks in the same draft, because that could be the core of their secondary one day. That's understandable. But I think when I look at the amount of pure defensive talent overall that they picked up in the offseason, I mean, they rebuilt their line. And I think they did a pretty good job of it. I'm expecting their defense to potentially be pretty good. And this is how I'm going to transition into my record prediction. What hinges on the defense is there are so many new pieces, so many unproven pieces, so many pieces like Damon Arnett, where I think I think he can be pretty good. I'm not ever big on saying a rookie cornerback can be number one immediately. But if he can develop like I expect him to, I think next year at the start of next season, he can be a pretty viable option at number one. I don't know if that's going to happen this season, but I think the potential eventually is there.
You and Bryce Shaddy can get a room together. That's all it is. You and Bryce Shaddy could get a room and talk about Damon Arnett and talk about what he's going to bring to the table. All I'm saying is I just think we just need to slow down the roll on Damon Arnett. That's it. That's all I'm asking. I think Oakland's going to be competitive, though, without a doubt. I agree.
Right. And like I was saying, right now my projection is for them to finish third. I have them winning 8 games also. What's weird, this is the one team I wanted to read my schedule to you, because it is a little weird. Through week 9, I have them starting 1-7, and I have them finishing 8-1, which means they're going to clean up that second half of that season.
Wow.
That also includes a big upset over the Chiefs in Las Vegas.
Wow. Look at you. Wow.
They're going to beat the Panthers week 1, but then just listen to this slate of teams. They have to play the Saints at home. They have to go into New England. They have to play the Bills at home. They have to go into Kansas City. They have to play the Bucks, and then they have to go into Cleveland and into Los Angeles to play the Chargers. To me, that's not an easy slate of games right there to start.
Heavens no.
But I think they're going to be competitive in those games, and for young teams that are trying to rebuild, I think that's going to gel their defense together. That rough start, I think they're going to rally, and I think they're going to reel off 7 straight there against the Broncos at home, the Chiefs at home. I think they can go into Atlanta and New York and beat the Falcons and the Jets. I have them beating my Colts at home. The Colts, to me, have always struggled with the Raiders. Last season, they put that was the true Colts that came out last year against the Raiders, because I remember I went and covered that game. They're going to beat the Dolphins at home. I think they can beat the Chargers at home, and I have them ending the season with a loss to the Broncos in Denver.
That's fair.
Let me say, from weeks 14 to 16, though, they have 3 straight home games late in the season.
That's a big deal.
If I'm wrong, the part of my schedule I'm doubting is actually that 1-7 start. I really don't have any doubt that they're going to have a better second half of the season. They're going to have to play real well to beat the Chiefs, but I think there's just something in my mind that's saying this can happen.
I get it.
Upset the Chiefs at home, but if they can have a stronger start to the season, if they win even one of those games that I said that they're going to lose in those first 8, that puts them at 9-7 with my ranking. Right now, they're 8-8. So again, like every other team in this division, I think they have playoff potential. To me, the Chiefs are the only one that's a Super Bowl contender, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Raiders sneak in either.
Yeah. I think that's understandable. The Raiders are going to come in. They're going to play hard. They're going to compete every week. John Gruden's going to get those guys bought in. And
let's not forget about John Gruden. He might be just, a little bit insane, but they call him Chucky for a reason. But he's a good coach.
He definitely is. And right now, as we wrap up this division, Noah, there's one team that we haven't talked about. That's the Kansas City Chiefs, which is honestly, here's the thing.
The easiest team in the NFL to talk about.
The talent on this offense is just insane. And then do me a favor. Let's just sign Clyde. Let's just draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And we're going to have Tyreek and Sammy and Nicole and DeMarcus Robinson. And we're going to have Travis Kelce and, and we have Patrick Mahomes. For crying out loud, Noah, this is going to be a lights out offense once again.
And to me, I also like to point out that Sammy Watkins took a pay cut. I think one of the opt-outs I remember hearing about was Damian Williams.
He was. Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a blow for them. But, it's Patrick Mahomes. I think typically when teams have a bit of a Super Bowl hangover, it starts with the quarterback underperforming. I don't see that from Mahomes in any way, shape, or form.
No, I don't see it.
They didn't really do much this offseason, but they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. You know what I mean? They already had the best roster in the league. So what did they need to add? And to me, there's not much. They have Tyrann Mathieu on that defense. They've shown that their defense isn't really top of the NFL, but it does enough just because of the electricity with Mahomes, Hill, and Travis Kelce, and Sammy, like you were talking about.
Yep. I agree. No, I think that's I agree with you. There's just so much there. The offensive line, Noah, is stellar. And you have a guy like Mitchell Schwartz, that's always going to help you. And here's the thing. They are losing Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. He did opt out of the 2020 season, but I just believe that they're going to figure it out because Patrick Mahomes is that freaking good.
Who are we turning to a running back is my question to you.
I'm buying everybody's stock on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. No, I think he's going to come out and he's just going to swing. He is going to be a really awesome running back this season.
They got to find somebody.
They're going to get it. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the man. I'm honestly, I understand a little bit of the skepticism, but to me, I think he's that dude, man. I really do. He's fast. He's quick. He fits in with what Mahomes wants. Mahomes was wanting him throughout the draft process. So to me, it's a slam dunk. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to do very well. I think, the offense is going to put up points like they always have. There's just no other way to say it. So to me, the offense isn't going to be your concern. I think the biggest thing, Noah, is going to be their defense, because they decided to really go out and, re-sign guys, right? And sign guys last season. Frank Clark, big cash. Chris Jones, they just decided to pay him the big bags. They went out, this is a really, they're going to keep the core with Tyron, with Chris Jones, with Frank Clark, with a guy like Reggie Ragland. So Noah, I guess my question to you is, what do you think of this defense? I mean, I know you said you think they can get the job done, but what are you thinking about the core that they have in place?
I think it's a core that gets the job done. Do they get it done exceptionally well by NFL standards? Maybe not, but I'm not going to doubt success in the form of a Super Bowl.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm expecting similar results to last season, but the Chiefs have shown that they can work with that.
Yep. I agree. They did. They showed it last season. I don't think there's any reason they can't do it again. They're just so stinking good, Noah. They're so stinking good. They're so freaking talented. I mean, and
Mahomes, I think, is one of those quarterbacks that's like impossible to hate no matter how many times he beats your team.
Exactly.
There's just they call him Mahomes magic. That's almost a cliche by now to say that name.
Exactly.
But I mean, the magic.
Well, and Noah, the other factor that the Chiefs didn't have to end the season was they didn't even have one Thornhill, and they're going to get him back. And that's, it's, as if they need more elite talent. No, this is,
my thing
they're going to be really good this season, man. They really are.
Do you think they're going to have a slow start to the season again, like they did last season, where they lost to the Titans and the Colts? And then I think did they lose to the Texans in the regular season? I think they did.
I don't see them,
because I don't see it
having an issue. No, I just think they're going to come out and dominate.
An intriguing game is Week 1 against the Texans. Now it's in Kansas City. I think that the Chiefs are still going to win that. Let me ask you, because I know that you like the Lamar and the Ravens. They have to go to Baltimore Week 3 prime time to play the Ravens. Who would you say is going to win that game? Because that's going to be a fun game. That's like the future of the AFC right there for a reason.
I would literally just take Baltimore just because it's at Baltimore.
But that's exactly what I put down.
that's literally
it's at Baltimore.
Yeah, that's it. Even though they may not have fans, I just think that's going to be a big deal. That's just
because that's an offensive shootout right there.
I agree.
That's where the Chiefs don't have a defense.
And the Ravens definitely do.
Yeah. I'm expecting them to beat the Patriots Week 4. Like I said, I have that shocking loss in Las Vegas. So potentially, if they win that game, then they'd be 13-3. But I also have them going into Tampa and losing. Granted, I'm a little bit higher on Tampa.
Out of the world. No, I don't think it's out of this world, though. That's not out of the world.
I also have them going into New Orleans late in the season and losing that game.
I understand it.
And so I have their 4 losses being – I have them going 8-0 at home, which I think –
that's not crazy.
That's not crazy at all. That's a more sure thing than,
yeah,
the freaking Jets winning a football game this season with Adam Gass.
Oh, wow.
Is that how inaccurate is that? Is it crazier to think the Jets can win 5 games or that the Chiefs can go 8-0 at home? Because to me, it's undoubtedly that the Chiefs can go 8-0 at Arrowhead. That's how bad the Jets are and how good the Chiefs are at home.
Wow. I did not expect the roast session from Noah Wolfgang on the Jets.
We're carrying over into part 2.
Oh, I know you are. You definitely haven't forgotten.
It's going to be the burner tour this year with Adam Gass.
Oh, okay.
But
it'll be interesting.
I have the Chiefs' 4 losses being in Baltimore, in Las Vegas, in Tampa, and in New Orleans, which to me seems pretty plausible.
Yeah. This will be a big year if they can, because I think they're going to come out. They're going to come out with a bang. playoffs, lock it in, book it. They're a top of the tier team. Yeah, and that's the key. Can they really repeat? That's the question. And we'll see what they're capable of. But how, and you gave us a little bit of a ranking, but just to clarify, I'll start off with mine. I think the Chiefs are number one. I really do. I think they're going to be really good. Right. Now, Noah, here's the thing for me. I'm liking Denver. I'm liking Denver a lot. Give me Denver at number 2, followed by number 3. I'm going to take the Oakland Raiders. I'm going to have the Chargers at number 4. What's your thoughts?
Again, I don't think it's how many games would you say the Chargers are going to win? That's the key here.
It is key. I think the thing is there are 5. They could be 5-11 and they could be 9-7. I could see 5-11, Noah, because of how loaded their division is, and I think that they could be head scratchy at quarterback. But at the same time, I could see them be very solid.
And that's the key with those bottom. Not even the bottom. With the other 3 teams in the AFC West, like I said, I have the Chiefs, Chargers, Oakland, and then Denver. So it's inverted. You're nice 2 through 4, but I mean they're all separated by a game, and the only reason I have the Denver below the Raiders is because I have the Raiders managing to beat them twice.
It's understandable.
So, I mean, it could go anyway.
Exactly.
The only thing to me that's a surety is that the Chiefs are going to be, 1 seed potential. It's either going to be them or Baltimore. They're going to have a bye.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a fun divisional race.
I mean, the fact of the matter is this is going to be a big, the question for the Chiefs is repeat. They're going to win the title, but it's really, how are these other 3 teams? And to be clear, to be key, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm saying they might, they're probably looking like they're going to win the division title, but those 3 teams are going to be very good. They're going to compete. This is going to be a good division, Noah. It was fun talking to you about this. Thank you for coming on to the LynnSanity podcast for part 2, my guy. Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Caleb. I'd love to come back sometime if you ever want me to come back.
Oh, you'll come back. If Keenan Allen has a big season, I already reserved a room for you. So you're definitely welcome there.
Yes. Just, bring me back on and we'll just pull up every stupid thing.
I'll definitely. You're the top guy to talk about when it comes to Adam Gase, because that boy should be fired. He should be out of town. He should be getting a sack. He should be packing up. This dude should be out of town. Noah, once again, thank you for roasting the living crap out of Adam Gase and the New York Jets football team. And thank you for your incredible analysis. This is a really good debut, Noah. I'm not going to lie. For your first time on any podcast, of course you choose the LynnSanity podcast. Of course.
Right.
You don't even listen to any other invites. You always have to choose the LynnSanity to be your debut. I apologize that I did not ask you sooner.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I felt like this was a perfect thing for you. I really did.
I've been busy. Because Alex has asked me, and I worked like crazy. I moved. I was out of state for like a week when you guys had that function.
Exactly. Exactly.
And recently with Twitter, man, I haven't even been like getting on and checking all that much with the chat. So
yeah, I get it.
So,
the Running Hook Podcast Network, they keep themselves busy. And here's the thing: I'm not going to bash Alex because Alex does an incredible job. I'm basically bashing everybody else on this network because here's the thing: you decided to come on this podcast first, and there's no joke for that, right? You wanted to come on this podcast because you wanted your debut to be on the LynnSanity platform,
right?
That's what you wanted. That is exactly what you wanted. And
correct.
So for that reason alone, I appreciate it. And we'll obviously be having you on for some more football conversation because Bryce Shaddy and I are doing a Monday night football podcast after all the games, and we'll be having some guests on there. And I guarantee you, Wolfgang, you will be on. And if the New York Jets have a horrible week, then I guarantee you I will call you because I have never seen anybody roast a football team like you when it comes to the New York Jets.
I didn't even know I had that burning level of disdain and
it was a burning level of passion, Noah.
I just had to start talking.
Exactly. And I didn't even know you were going to get there, but you got there. You were not happy with Adam Gase. So
I'm not
once
happy
again,
with the Panthers and the Texans either, but that's for a different time.
Well, I mean, you should have came out. Boss just did an NFC Southpaw. You should have came.
But
we were talking good about the Panthers. Yeah, we were talking good about the Panthers, but you would have been interesting to, have a contradictory opinion on. But you roasted the Jets, and that's all that matters. So, Wolfgang, thank you for coming on. And look, we have plenty of things from the Running Hook to check out. Alex Burr, Dylan Hughes on their show, Zach Griffith, Brett Sexton doing their Circle City Cinema. We have plenty of stuff coming on the Running Hook, and keep your eye out for all the coverage that we're going to provide.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Caleb.